Hi. So we're just a quick one today. Not a lot to talk about. I spent most of yesterday actually working on the crowdfunding that needs to be the next step. I made the graphic. I'm actually quite proud of it. It's very simple, but because I'm not a graphic designer, it does the job that I want it to do. Part of which I decided to go yellow so it would stand out from the crowd when people browse through the projects on the website. Not that will give me a lot of traffic or attention or money anyway, because I don't think this website's, it's no Kickstarter, so it's a smaller one. So any money I raise is going to be entirely on the back of my own marketing network and family and friends, I guess. But still, every little bit. So I've got an image that pops out. I just need to put together all of the goals, rewards, team, all the information together. I've done it already as a draft, but I did that. Jeez, I started a year ago actually. I think back before it was the Socratic Web. I was still working on it as a rebutter. But yeah, the ideas evolved quite a lot since then. So it all needs to be updated. I've got to get that done and get that out there. It's hard because I know I don't really have any rewards. It's not a product. There's nothing I can sell. So and the whole purpose of the crowdfunding is to get the money to hire professionals to help with the branding, design, and things like infographics to explain it. So I feel really stupid trying to put this together and put it out there, knowing that it's going to be very subpar. It's not going to look great. It's not going to be presented well, and I don't have the visuals or the video. This is just the rebuttal video. So I think I'm going to record myself talking at a camera or something, like I'm doing here, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to be pushing out to my entire network something which just never feels, it's not going to feel very good, but I know that doesn't matter. I've got to get over there. I've just got to do it so that I can see if anyone cares enough to give me money for it, so that I can then put together the stuff that looks good and creates the right impression, so that I can take that to the people with the real money, philanthropic organizations that are potentially willing to part with hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is what I need in order to get this project really off the ground, to get developers working on the database, and take like that success and that momentum which will come from this, because I'm hoping that in launching this I'll be able to get some publicity out of it as well by putting something out there and making it concrete and pushing it to my network, a network which does consist of a lot of journalists now, that I should get some press and coverage and maybe catch the attention of Facebook, Google, Twitter, Mozilla, Microsoft more than I have already. Because I've met a few people from those organizations and spoken to them, but I don't know if they care. I don't get replies to any emails from Facebook or Google people. Although one person from Google Australia who I actually probably should follow up with soon. But yeah, I know what I need to do. It's just on the edge and always frightening and all that sort of stuff. So while I was doing that, I ended up procrastinating by writing an article on Medium. I just sort of, as this says, I brain dumped it. I just this actually came from an email exchange on the fake news group that happened when Elon Musk tweeted his thing about making like a rating evaluation thing for journalists, so people know who's credible or not. And the back and forth on that led to me making this basic argument that the people, the public, the average person is never going to look at one of these services that tells them who's reliable and who's trustworthy, or what is true and what isn't true, however you want to present it. And I've spoken to people that are doing this sort of thing, and they go, oh, but this isn't telling people what to believe. But it is. it's not going, you have to believe this, but you are saying this is untrue. The implication being that you shouldn't believe it. It doesn't matter how you present it. That's what it's doing, telling people what to and what not to believe, who to or who not to believe. And for the most part, the public just isn't going to swallow it. This is, I can't predict the future. I can't say what's going to happen, but I can see what's already happened. I can see what's happening. You've really got to be blind to the public to think that, to not see what has happened, to not see how this has played out and how they're behaving right now. At the Post-Truth Initiative at Sydney University, they had an all-day workshop on truth, and I got to meet Tom, who wrote The End of Expertise, Death of Expertise, Tom Nichols. So you got to hang out with Tom a bit and talk to him. But yeah, it was very interesting. I haven't read the book. I suck at reading books lately. It's terrible. Largely because I sit here all day reading articles and writing articles, I guess. It's no excuse. I've got to read again. But I don't. But yeah, hearing him talk about his book and about what's happening very much resonated with my own experience of the modern era, both online and in the real world, where I do interact with a spectrum of people, from professors and academics and entrepreneurs and CEOs and investors and tradesmen and labourers and just general working class, because that's the area that I grew up in and that's where I actually live, and it's where I am right now in England. So my family and family, friends and extended group have always been in that average person group, and I'm the weirdo that sort of broke out and went to a selective high school, then went to university, and slowly started merging my social group, not merging, but started moving into that social group of people. And so I'm constantly living between sort of those two worlds, and every time I go to these conferences about misinformation, fake news, conferences, journalism conferences and web conferences and political-based conferences that have this misinformation track on them anyway, I just hear a lot of people that are working on solving the problem of misinformation, but they are clearly doing it for themselves. They are clearly doing it for organizations and for experts and for people that need to know what's true and what's not true, and will find the metrics and the metadata and the tools to analyze things so that they can make the right decision. That's great for those things, for experts, for people that can make that assessment to understand what's happening. But most people can't make those assessments. Most people have no clue how that conclusion is reached or why they should trust your system, and they won't, and they don't. And this is just, I don't know how many ways I can say it. I don't know how many ways we can see it happen. I don't know what needs to be done to have everyone working this problem and realize that the average person does not give a shit about what experts say when it comes to telling them what to believe. They care about what experts say when the experts say what they believe already. Then look, the expert agrees with me. That's basic confirmation bias in action. When it comes to telling them that they're wrong, they don't care what the expert says. They don't care what your system says. They don't care what the data says. At least, to put it simply. It's complex. It's always complex. But in a brutal sort of way, it's basically how it's playing out. Now, anyway, that was a little long side story of this email exchange in the fake news group. Ellie Paso came in and fantastically separated what I was saying into this point, is that we've got two things. Separate a solution for the experts and a solution for the public, and it's like these are two different things. And until he's really concretely split them out into those two things, I was saying it won't work, but he made the point that there's two different things. I think I kind of said it, but it was great having him separate them like that for me, so that we can start talking about two different solutions for two different groups. And I think in seeing that, I recognize now that I've always worked on the solution for the public, because I come from a background of science and philosophy, so I see, the experts already have their solutions. We already have techniques, the scientific method, philosophical principles, processes. We have education that teaches us how to do these things. I can't tell you the number of times I've spoken to people that I'm quite misinformation, and they come back to me and go, well, how do you know what's right anyway? Variations of that. It's hard to answer that in a witty snippet. I know what's right because I know. Like, you can't say how you know what's right without at least several hours of sitting down in front of a computer going, okay, let's look at some examples. Let me show you how to think about information. Let me show you how to qualify and look at the context within which the information exists and who is writing it, and how to verify sources, how to verify claims, how to find references and follow references and read through them and make sense of them, and recognize when you lack the skills in a particular area and find other people that have the skills and see what they say about it and put it all together to come up with what makes sense. You can't, when someone says, how do you know it's true? You can't say that easily. And even if I did reply with what I just said, they'd still go, what a load of shit, or whatever, and move on. And probably sounds like I'm being condescending or something. But I mean, I've had this conversation so many times. It's just real. It's just how these conversations go. The average person doesn't give a shit, and honestly doesn't know how it is that you can be so confident about what you know. As someone who has actually studied things and learned how to think about things and learned, in fact, the common perception is someone who goes to university doesn't learn how to think about things. Someone who goes to university learns how to follow the mantra of the experts. Way too many people absolutely believe that university education is indoctrination, and that's all it is. Again, a conversation I have had too many times. So explain to them how university education and studying and whatever actually teaches us how to assess information and reach conclusions. It's way harder than even explaining it, because you've got to break through their biases and expectations that have already been set. So anyway, this article is just me sort of laying that division down, and the fact that ultimately the problem isn't a misinformation problem. It's a problem with what people believe, because what people believe decides what they share and how they react to claims. And that the only way we're going to address that is by engaging with it, by having a system that engages with people's beliefs all the time in a way which is constructive and helpful and non-judgmental and non-vilifying or persecuting, so that their beliefs can be challenged, and they will continue to allow that to happen because they see value in the system. And that value, I haven't actually spelled this out in this article, the value that they see in the system is the fact that they can use the system to prove the other people wrong, because that's how we work. Confirmation bias. We want to prove the other person wrong. So we'll have this system here which allows them to go and find the best critique of the things that they disagree with, and then go, you're wrong because this article disagrees with you. And they'll do that. But now they're in the system's there, and people can do that back to them. And so there will be ongoing debate, but organized so that hopefully the best, if not the best, at least high quality responses are being used all the time, rather than weak, dodgy ones people come with, you're wrong because you got the day wrong, you're an idiot. Stupid responses that people do in emotional, reactive sort of ways that actually take the discussion backwards, because then you get stuck on side tangents. If we organize the web so that we always have access to high quality rebuttals, and people just start with high quality responses, and the discussion immediately goes into along the lines of one of the best structures, the best forms, the best quality tangents of the discussion, then everyone can be brought up to the level of best understanding, rather than knee-jerk confirmation bias, straw man versions of each argument. But that's how This is a problem with the public. This is a problem with the average belief. This is not a problem with helping journalists get the facts. This is not a problem with helping experts reach the right conclusion. This is a problem with getting everyone closer to the truth rather than manipulated by manipulations. Anyway, today working more on that. Actually, today I've got to take care of Leonardo some more. Vanessa's really unwell lately because I've been away twice, and she's had a cold, and we travelled for a month. So she's been slowly trying to recover from all of that, and she's just doing really unwell now. So I've got to go downstairs after this actually, and I'll take care of Leonardo for a bit. Help around the house more because Vanessa's mum's doing absolutely everything. So I don't know how much work I'll actually get done today, but I'll try and get some done. Bitcoin's like failed its little rally. Hopefully this goes up. Kind of. Yeah, I'm really hoping it goes up more before it goes down further. If we're lucky, this is the bottom, but I'm still not expecting it to be. I don't know, I'm still trying. Okay, that's all.